These days, your options for high-speed internet start at just a few megabits per second and go all the way up to gigabit speed or even more. Now, of course, ISPs want you to fork over as much of your money as possible for a higher speed connection with vague wording about how good it is for gaming or multiple devices or whatnot. But how much should you really be paying for? Well, here's the thing. A part of the reason that internet service providers offer so many access tiers is that not everyone should have the same size pipe coming into their house. You shouldn't buy a 10-seater minivan if you are single with no kids. And in much the same way, it's probably a waste to have insanely fast internet connections if you live alone with one computer and a phone. This means that the $64,000 question when choosing an internet plan is, what are you using the service for and how many gadgets will be accessing it at once. After that, the process mostly becomes a matter of simple addition. You see, it turns out that predicting how much speed each common task requires is fairly straightforward. Suppose you want to stream HD videos, and I would assume you do. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't be watching this. So, for sites like YouTube and Netflix, you'll need between a 5 and 10 megabit per second connection if you want your experience to be reliably smooth. Now, of course, if you want to stream 4K HDR, your data rates are going to be quite a bit higher. Most of the popular streaming platforms recommend somewhere between 15 to 25 megabit per second. But we would suggest going a far bit higher than that, somewhere between 40 to 50 megabit range. This will account for any dips in your service during heavy load times or if a Windows update is running in the background somewhere. The thing to keep in mind though is that this is on person to person basis. So if you want to stream on more than one screen, you will need to multiply that speed times the total number of videos that you foresee your household playing on your connection at once. That way, your texting stream wouldn't cut off because your inconsiderate roommate is trying to watch his reboot of 90s sitcoms in 4K. Next, we got to consider our other data heavy doings besides streaming video, like gaming. It might surprise you though to know that you don't need insane speeds to have a great gaming experience. In fact, typically, if you can have at least 10 megabits per second free on whatever device you are gaming on, it will probably be enough. The more important consideration for gaming is going to be latency. Latency, in short, is the delay between your computer and your phone requesting something from the server and the server sending the data back to you, and vice versa. And it's actually possible now, come on, to have a service that boasts high speed but also suffers from high latency, which can result in a weird laggy behavior while you are gaming. And the really tricky thing here is that as you pay for a higher and higher speed tier, your latency may not improve at all. So if you have several ISPs to choose from, read reviews and see if there are any in your area where gamers have specifically recommended it for its low latency. Also, keep in mind that low latency is equally important for another real-time application such as video chatting with your long-distance love interest. One more gaming and video chat specific consideration is that unlike web browsing, it's important to make sure that you are getting a decent amount of upstream speed for these applications. A solid 10 to 15 megabits per second per device should be fine for high quality video calls and streaming to Twitch in high definition. Now, aside from applications, the other most common reason that you might want a faster connection is if you are often transferring large files like a game installers or large video files. For example, if you are trying to download a 2 gigabyte movie that would take 2 minutes and 40 seconds on a 100 gigabit per second connection. So, it's simple matter of doing the math for how long it takes to prepare a bucket of popcorn and going from there. Finally, although I know the title of this episode is How Much Speed You Need, we should probably also mention the data caps. Those are those nasty little limits that some ISPs slap to your service, where if you exceed a certain amount per month, you will be looking at consequences like throttling or extra charges. Now, data cap shouldn't be much of a concern if for web browsing, but you can quickly run up against them if you are streaming games or watching a ton of video. So, have a look at this chart and see how much data per hour these activities usually consume. And then you can use some quick math to see how high of a cap you might need every month. The bottom line is that there's no point overpaying for either speed or data. This is unless you are that person that leaves your Wi-Fi unsecured because you are just feeling generous towards your whole neighborhood. So, hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, hit the like button and also don't forget to subscribe.